Hi, I'm Matthew the water drop. I started in the clouds as hydrogen and oxygen, forming into a droplet that came down as rain. Somehow I traveled the whole way to the water fountain at Baden Academy Charter School in Baden, Pennsylvania. Come see my journey.
When Matthew fell from the clouds, he landed in the Ambridge Reservoir, which is nowhere near Ambridge. That blue snake is the Ohio River, and Ambridge is right there. You have to travel about 23 minutes in a car to drive from Ambridge to the reservoir, all the way across the river through Aliquippa and past Interstate Highway 376. It's pretty big. The reservoir covers over 405 acres. It was created in the 1950s with $2.6 million of bonds. It took 26 years to pay for it. All that work so the people in Ambridge could have clean water. It's a very precious lake. Thank goodness they built the reservoir. Before it, Ambridge got its water from the Ohio River. Since 2001, the Ohio has been the most polluted river in the United States. The water of the Ambridge Reservoir is beautiful. Can you fish in it? No. You get fined if they catch you doing anything near the water like fishing.
Actually, Cindy, the big danger in drinking reservoir and stream water is a tiny parasite called Giardia. It is so tiny you need a microscope to see it. Water treatment cleans away the dangerous things in our drinking water.
Gravity helps the large pumps at Ambridge Reservoir transport water downhill from the reservoir to the water plant.
Downhill?
Yes, while it is hard to tell on the map, the reservoir is actually 900 feet above sea level, while Ambridge is about 700 feet above sea level, so the water is traveling downhill.
Engineers had to use some pretty clever math and pipe design to keep the water flowing without any pumps to power it.
I like math.
Water drops don't do math. Part of Matthew's journey was across the Ambridge Bridge. Then he continued to travel downhill into the Ambridge Water Authority. Well, that's the real Matthew going in the front door.
Matthew, the water drop came in through a pipe.
We're standing on 17 feet of water?
The force of water drops together, traveling all the way from the Ambridge Reservoir, creates so much power the engineers put a turbine in the plant that the water turns
4.5 million gallons every day.
It turns so fast it produces 25% of the plant's electricity it needs to operate.
Wow!
I love engineers. I want to be one.
Bob and all the people at the Water Authority measure everything and keep good records.
Scott showed us the equipment
they use to record their measurements. Many people who work in the plant have an environmental science degree. They all needed special training and certifications.
Ambridge Water Authority needs to make the water clean and safe to drink. They do some amazing science to take out the sediment. That is small dirt particles. In this room, the mixing chamber, they add something called polyaluminum chloride. Polyaluminum chloride is a coagulant. It's like the magnet for things like a sediment and clumps it together. But first you have to mix it.
I'm getting a bath. It tingles.
Matthew doesn't stay in this room long. It is a high-speed mixing of the water and chemicals, and it's done in a flash. That's why it's called flash mixing.
They also add orthophosphate.
This controls the corrosion of pipes and prevents lead contamination.
I wish the Water Authority in Flint had been using orthophosphate. And don't be scared by the big name. There are a lot of regulations to make sure that they can't add anything to the water that is dangerous to people in this quantities they add.
Scott drew some water to test its turbidity.
It's what?
Its turbidity. What a fun word. Turbidity is considered as a good measure of the quality of water. It is how cloudy the water is.
Scott was testing a new turbidimeter.
He was looking for whether the turbidimeter that uses the LED light is better than the turbidimeter that uses an incandescent light. Spoiler alert, it was.
There's those engineers again, building better and better things. Wait, your light is shining through me.
The next room was the slow mixer. They called it the flocculator because it is where the sediment forms into flock.
They are measuring and adjusting the pH of the water, another way to tell if it's healthy and safe for us to drink.
We went outside to the sediment basins
And looked at the flock that floated to the bottom as the clean water rose to the top.
Our aquatic robotics team was very sad and frustrated to learn that the robot that travels the bottom of the pool to clean up all the flock is not a favorite machine on the campus. Maybe they can help design a better one.
The clean water from the top of the sediment pools flows into the basin room. The final filtration has the water percolate down through the anthracite, coal, and ground up like sand.
The filtration removes the tiniest particles that made it past the sediment basin and kills off things like giardia, like that is so hard to kill.
We went at an exciting time. It was time to reverse the flow in order to clean the filters.
We even got to help clean the filters with a high-pressure hose.
As the basin room filled back up with water, we went to our tour guide underneath the floors of the basins.
There were lots of pipes and levers, drain flows.
And even a door to charge the anthracite coal.
Mike showed us where the clean water received just a little bit of chlorine.
Our final stop was the chlorine room, where tanks of chlorine were pressurized to deliver just the right amount into our drinking water.
Chlorine disinfection has been used in the United States since 1908 and has just about wiped out waterborne diseases such as cholera and typhoid. But it is a very dangerous chemical. That's why it has its own room.
As a gas, chlorine is poisonous, so the room had to be locked and sealed door with meters as you can read. The amount of chlorine that is added to our water makes it safe for us to drink. Too much chlorine and it starts to hurt people.
Even first responders like firemen are trained to use breathing equipment and special chemical-resistant gloves and boots.
I am amazed at how hard Scott and Bob have to work to make water safe to drink. There's a lot of chemistry.
After the water is treated, it flows to 30,000 people through the pipelines. It goes to Ambridge Borough, Harmony Township, and Economy Borough. It is also sold to Baden Borough, Edgeworth, Leedsdale, Leet Township, Bell Acres, and some of New Swickley Municipal Authority into area.
Most importantly, it makes its way to the 600 kids and teachers at the Baden Academy Free Public Charter School.
Every drop of delicious water we drink has made this amazing long journey to become clean and delicious.
Thank you, engineers.
And chemists.
And even politicians who made the sacrifices in what we want to provide us with what we need.
Thank you to all the extremely capable and dedicated people who are the Ambridge Water Authority.
We went with our tour guide, Scott. Scott showed us where the water receives just a little bit of chlorine.